Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a project that I took a little too long working on. This is a wedding day counter for my friends that were getting married. I told them I was going to do it back in winter of last year, and their wedding was in August. I finished a month before they're getting married. So a lot of this footage you'll be able to see the day starting at 200 and then end of the video at 60. But either way, this was a very fun project to use my electronics workbench on. I had shown it in some of my previous videos that I've been building up this workbench, and I never really had a chance to make a project out of it. So this is a good combination of coding skills from college, some personal research, and I taught myself to solder before the job I got, which, as that one video, I am no longer unemployed, so can't make fun of me for that. But this project took a lot, and doing it in my free time, it was tough. However, I did get the opportunity to work on it every chance I got, and it came out pretty good actually. Here I'm going to show you some of the different parts I made, starting out with the basic Arduino, going into the shield that I attached to it, which I could attach the time module to, and then screen onto that. I ended up using some harness connectors just so the screen would be easier to come in and come out. I didn't want to solder wires straight to the boards. Those always come loose and are unreliable. Alright, after doing some basic prototyping and the coding, this has the current time and how many days until the day of their wedding. I ended up using an old Arduino shield, doing some basic wiring. I ended up buying a kit where you could make wire groupings, and then one of the kits I had a AC to DC 9 volt, so I'm going to use that for this. So the next step is going to be mounting it. I think I might have it come in from the left side just to make things easier, but I have a basic design. I have the basic design for the box, so it'll be sitting with the Arduino in it, with it hanging out, and the front like that. As we can see here, we had a bunch of different prototypes. I think we can find one of the originals. Or not. It's pretty much, this is one of the first prototypes. Fully enclosed, and then having some kind of face shield for the screen. But I ended up making a new design that had an access panel in the back. It's like a whole piece I lifted off. I can show that in the Fusion. But then I decided that was a bit harder to create than I expected and to function, especially using this printer. If I did it with this new printer, it would have worked out fine. But I figured I could have the nice printer. So then I ended up playing with trying to get this to interface with a bottom piece. That was more difficult than I thought. This is one of the last designs before I made the tabs. I just tried to use friction to hold it into place, which kind of worked, but it was still very loose. So I ended up designing these tabs. These had to go through like 8 phases to make sure it was working right, and then I was able to implement that into the faceplate, which is on the current box. But my other thought was doing this, so it would just like push against the back, but when it was pushing, it was just bending this entire piece, so it kind of looked like shit. So on the and actually you can see I made a little ridge for that. Come on. Made a little ridge for that ball part to sit into, but it just wasn't enough. It didn't hold it enough. So I ended up going with these tabs on the bottom and the face, and it worked out very well. And then I know I showed in that original design that it'd be sitting on some kind of like columns, but I wanted to make it sit like it's on a cake. So these are like the little blossoms that sit around, which worked pretty well. But yeah, this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to switch to the bamboo printer. Because I had this, it was very annoying to get any of this out. And that's also why I made it multiple sections. But yeah. Now this bamboo printer has actually been extremely helpful for making some other projects. I've gotten a ton of practice now with CAD and Fusion 360, so that actually ended up translating over to cutting on a CNC mill. So I actually have one of those at work, and I get to use it on my own time for personal projects. My other technician has been helpful teaching me how to actually do it, but it has definitely given me a new perspective on this whole 3D modeling space, and I plan on doing a lot more of it in the future. I do already have plans with metal fab in general. I just bought a welder from Harbor Freight, and I'm planning on making a few different things out of metal tube. So we get to see more of that, but the idea of metal fab is becoming more and more of an interest. So it'll between that. At some point I'd like to work with a lathe and learn that. Any kind of metal fab just sounds extremely interesting, but for now we got 3D printing. I'm really glad how this turned out, actually. I know it took forever, as you saw, 200 plus days when I started with the hardware and code, but I had my friend paint this, and I think it came out wonderful. This is a great project, and I think other people should do projects like this too. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and comment on something else you might want to see that I can branch out and learn. Thank you. Have a good one.